And with that, when we are accommodating for families, we need to accommodate for the very unique guests, and especially the little guests that are coming along with the family. And with that, we have Fran Mayer with us, who is the CEO and founder of BabyQuip. Hey,
Good
Fran.
morning, good evening, and good night. Thanks so much for having us here today. Thanks, Damien, for all those tips. Appreciate it. And today I'm going to talk to you about really specifically traveling with small children. So, Baby Quip, we're a marketplace. We provide clean, safe, and insured baby gear from strollers to car seats to baby monitors, even toys, to families wherever they're traveling. And we do this by leveraging 600 who we call quality providers, who are mostly moms who own the gear, deliver it, set it up, pick it up, and so on. And we're mostly in the United States and Canada at this time. Our customers are millennial parents, and just some stats in case you don't know. There's about 10 million families with young children. This is US data mostly. They love to travel, driving over 10 million vacations and 150 billion family travel market. And we're certainly seeing, as Omar talked to earlier, families are traveling during this time. It's probably the only segment coming back. They're very comfortable with renting. They value experiences more than goods. They really embrace the sharing economy. Of course, they have values around sustainability and very much now about clean. So for Baby Quip, vacation rentals are our most strategic channel. They're the largest segment, about 36% of orders, for 41% of GMV, higher order value, and this is because people are looking for an experience that's most like home. And as we talked about earlier, more room for the family, more room for everybody to work. We also serve grandparents in hotels, but vacation rentals are critical. So the pandemic happens, as it happened for us. It hit pretty much the beginning part of March. We were actually on Shark Tank here in the US on March 6th. We got tons of traffic, but not so many orders because by that point, people were really pulling back. Lots of cancellations, really difficult. So once we got over the shock, it was let's find out what our customers are doing. Let's retrain our providers to make sure they're following new cleaning and contact protocols. We actually executed on a new line of business called cleaning. So this is where we clean strollers and car seats. And we have been consistent about getting the word out that we're still here, we're still ready to serve. So, in terms of the survey, we went back to our customers and said, what are the most important things that you're thinking about when renting baby gear? And no surprise to us, 84%, now this is almost 40 points higher than the last time we surveyed them, said clean and safe gear is critical. Then next, reasonable rental fees. That's no surprise, but that increased in importance. And then the third one was delivery and setup. So very much concerned about that process. Now the good news is our customers have said that our gear is always clean and safe, which is why we have an 82 Net Promoter Score. I want to focus a little bit about contact delivery. Became very important with over 57% saying that they wanted contactless delivery. So again, you're seeing all these trends across segments being very consistent. Then we introduced new cleaning processes, and this is mostly about baby gear, but it can apply to appliances and things into the house. So vacuum, top to bottom, 360 degrees, inside all those crevices. And for, if you can imagine, car seats and strollers inside the straps and so on. With children, you want to use a mild detergent. Maybe you want to steam. You don't necessarily want a whole lot of chemicals. You do want to sanitize, and steamers sanitize as well as other cleaning supplies. And of course, you want to make sure things are dry so that they don't attract new germs. And then put everything back together again. So we trained our providers with all of these options. Now, then we announced our cleaning service. It's mostly focused on strollers and car seats for local families. This is already taken off. Our providers who are already renting gear are also cleaning gear. Now they can clean gear for their local families. And we relaunched this in July in over 60 markets, and we're already growing very quickly. So this is an example of a pivot. And, you know, in vacation rentals, I've seen people now renting rooms for offices and renting their pools. So, you know, this is the time for creativity and trying things out. Then the other thing that we really worked on, even though we had to slash our paid media budget, we still want to keep the SEO and keep BabyQuip top of mind. So we really kept up developing new content and our social media presence. So we did a lot of things like 20 coronavirus travel tips to keep your family safe. Some of these, of course, are looking for clean and safe vacation rentals. Some of them are teaching your kids to keep their hands in their pocket so that they're not touching too many things. And some tips on how to travel on a plane. So what we're finding is tips and guides are more important than ever. People really want some help. This is uncharted territory. And of course, you want to make sure that your content is reinforcing clean and safe, because potential guests may be filtering or searching, looking for those kinds of assurances. So, very consistent with everybody else, our tips for vacation rental managers is embrace new cleaning protocols, contactless check-in, mask, sanitizer, and so on. Encourage guests to rent out outdoor gear, and make sure you tell them about the outdoor options in your vacation rental, because obviously if they want to visit with family, maybe at their destination, being outside is really, really critical. Flexible cancellation policies, guidelines on takeout and delivery, options that they might enjoy, maybe your favorite restaurants that are delivering special menus. Provide grocery delivery options. BabyQuip will also deliver groceries along with the baby gear. Make sure you have cleaning supplies that are non-toxic, family-friendly in your property so guests can clean as they go. And make sure that they know you are stepping up to the challenge during this time. And that's through your own content, but your email and everything. You know, I'm an Airbnb and VRBO host, and I've changed all of my descriptions to be more family friendly. So that's it. That's where you could find us. I think I gave back a little bit of time here, so thanks so much. Thanks. Really enjoyed doing this today.
Thank you, Fran. Thank you for sharing your shark tips with us.
Yes.
I'm excited to hear that the business are picking up again, and thank you for being a great partner of ours. And with that, I want to pass it before, and again, I see already a lot of questions for Fran from people who really want to make sure that their listings are ready for the babies, and we're going to get to all of them soon. But before that, let me pass the ball to Stephen Krikalis, a friend and the head of direct marketing, VP of direct marketing for Tenter. Tenter is one of, I would say, even the favorite customers that we have here at Guesty, because they created, in a way, an industry, the industry of glamping, with a very unique market that only grew over the last few months. And they have been doing a great work, really leveraging the demand out there and to create an amazing experience, a very serene experience, exactly at this time, to all the travelers who are looking for something different outside of the city. I'm going to stop talking about Tenter and let Tenter speak about themselves. So Stephen, take it away.
I'll start off, for those not familiar with Tenter, I will start off by briefly explaining what Tenter is. And I want to say here that Tenter is not your typical property management company. We partner with private landowners and state parks, and we create these beautiful campsites with privacy and room to roam. And we have more than 800 campsites total nationwide, but ultimately, at the end of the day, like the host, or as we call them, the camp keepers, are managing their own properties with Tenter support, of course. The camp keepers are in full control of the guest experience during each stay, and even have the ability to make each date even more enjoyable by providing extras ranging from like bed linens and firewood to more advanced things like kayak rentals and horseback riding lessons. So we also like to think that we are sort of bridging the divide between rural and urban communities and economies as we're helping city dwellers primarily go out and enjoy the outdoors in these rural areas. So as Omer said, we have our own website, Tentor.com, where campers can search for and book their perfect campsite, and where hosts also can manage their campsites. In addition, because of our integration with Guesty, we also partner with all major OTAs very seamlessly. So you can find our campsites also on Airbnb and VRBO and Booking.com, etc. We have 3 types of campsites. Our first one is our signature campsite, which is our, signature product. These are safari-style canvas tents on wooden platforms with queen-size beds inside, a picnic table, a fire pit, even a toilet solution, and various other amenities. And these can be found on both private and state land. We have the DIY campsites, which are, this is the backcountry solution, camping solution on private land. And this is where campers can pitch their own tent on private land, as I said. And then we also have partner sites, which these include effectively hosts who already have a tent-like structure on their property. And this is sometimes a lot more glamping oriented as well, with full electricity, Wi-Fi, and the works. So here's something that I started looking at actually this year, but this is some proof that of the rise of domestic travel. This is a chart from Google Trends showing the level of interest for the search term camping near me for the last 5 years. And the peaks typically occur every July or so, as camping interest is at its highest during the summer months. In our case, we have seen an amazing increase in demand for outdoor activities and camping after an initial decrease ranging from mid-March to end of April, when the initial stay-at-home orders were issued and people were a little bit panicked and started canceling all their plans. But since that time, we have seen a big increase in reservations. To give you some context, our reservations from April to May of this year grew by 10x, while in June and July, we have seen a 4x increase year over year, like versus 2019. So next I'll get into some various steps that we took to adjust to this new reality of COVID. So first, let me just mention that, since our campsites are perfect for social distancing, to begin with, unlike traditional campgrounds, as they are individually secluded on 10 acres of land or more, we felt that we had just to reemphasize Tentor's positioning on privacy and seclusion. Secondly, we felt it was important to thoughtfully craft COVID-19 guidelines that ensured the health and safety of both our guests and our hosts, and which could be implemented across the board for all of our 800 campsites. And last but not least, we ensured that these guidelines are actually communicated very easily to both guests and hosts. And we did this by including them in various touch points that we have, such as our website, the campsite description, and emails. So these are some highlights, some of the most important COVID-19 guidelines that we implemented. First and foremost, we implemented an enhanced cleaning procedure performed by the hosts. Secondly, we created a more flexible cancellation policy, even though we felt that our cancellation policy was already flexible, since previously guests would only incur a cancellation fee if canceling within 72 hours of check-in. We actually changed that to up to 24 hours of check-in. So during the height of the pandemic, this is no longer valid, but during the time of uncertainty, of great uncertainty and people having to change plans quickly, we actually implemented this as well. We also created a 24-hour buffer between consecutive reservations, So, but this has been recently replaced, literally last week or so, by creating more customized check-in and checkout times as defined by the host to allow for the host to disinfect between the stays. And I should say here that the main reason for this change was both our guests and our hosts were actually requesting this change. And our guests just felt that there weren't enough days available for them to book a stay when we implemented this. Number 4 was we implemented contactless check-in and checkout, which for us, again, was fairly easy to implement considering there is no exchange of keys or anything of that sort. So there is a greeting when campers arrive, but there's no exchange of anything, and that can be done at a distance. And finally, we required hosts to provide additional items to allow guests to perform frequent hand washing of their own and campsite disinfecting. So we provide them extra drinking water, soap, paper towels, and disinfectant. So the next step involved communicating these guidelines to our customers, and these are just 2 examples of what we did. We crafted, first of all, we crafted separate guidelines. The top part is something that we implemented on our website, prominently displayed on our website. The bottom part is something that we implemented on every listing description on OTA, since the website message wouldn't be relevant there. So, but we also created separate guidelines for campers versus keepers, because there are changes there, as you can see highlighted here in the orange rectangle. And we, in addition, like I mentioned, we also included this information in booking confirmation emails, and we had an additional dedicated page on our website explaining these guidelines in a lot more detail. So these are link outs to go to other pages so that you can read them more thoroughly. In addition, some of our hosts decided to make their own updates to their listing descriptions. So, some were updating the site name to encourage guests to book their site as a safe alternative to other getaways, or even encouraging guests to reach out with questions or concerns. Others were highlighting things like additional safety steps that they had taken of their own. And some hosts, as you can see over here, some hosts that maybe had 2 sites on the property only now allowed 1 group to stay at a time. So typically 2 different groups could book each campsite, but they restricted this to be only 1 group at a time. And also some hosts actually stopped providing some extras because of their own concerns about the virus transmission, and most notably bed linen. So as an extra, campers could purchase bed linens for their bed, so the host would actually make their bed. But instead, because of their own concerns about handling the linens that maybe their guests slept on, they actually encouraged their guests to bring their own instead. Our strategy of highlighting privacy and seclusion, as well as implementing and communicating these guidelines, has led to positive results as it relates to families. So for this particular demographic, we've seen website visits up 50% year over year. We've seen the conversion rate up by 60% year over year. And bookings for this demographic are up 130% year over year. And we've also seen that bookings with 3 to 6 guests on the reservation have increased more than any other group size. So again, this points to how it's families or even small groups that are booking more. Finally, some evidence here via some of the post-trip reviews on how appreciative guests have been about both the private and seclusion that Tenter offers, but also the efforts taken by the hosts and the Tenter team to ensure a safe and enjoyable trip. So I've highlighted here some specific sentences from these reviews, and how these are very specific to COVID. And we have seen an increase in COVID-related reviews after trips have been completed. So you see here, had all the necessary precautions, the best choice to escape the COVID nightmare. This is our idea of social distancing, and so on and so forth. So that's it for me. You can visit us at Tenter.com. or you can email me at steven@tentor.com if you have any questions or concerns or comments. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephen. Great to see how great of a results you had over the last quarter, and I'm sure this summer and the fall are going to be just as exciting.